Minotaur Imports. Put a lot of effort into this event. We're about to see the second 500 race start off. They're up on the starting line up here, ready for the start. And away they go. Second race of the open motocross class. Murray Anderson's got the good hole shot there. Number 5, Michael Moore. Brian Patterson, about 5th place. Murray Anderson again. 5D1. And the rest of the field's finished. Keith Peters right in the back of the field again. Murray Anderson, and the crowd is cheering for him. Look at that man down there, Greg Brink. Ross Saunders is making a charge. He's in 3rd place now. Deacon, Ross Saunders, there they go. Saunders might be having this one. He had a 2nd place before. He'll be looking for another one. And the crowd really looking for Murray Anderson. And here comes Ross Saunders. Got that 2nd place. Deacon, Brian Patterson, running champion. In 4th spot, looking strong. Up the back straight they come. Still the same positions. Murray Anderson. Still they want Murray online. James Deacon from Australia. Probably going to fade in a minute to Brian Patterson. Matthias, Malcolm Moore, way. Murray Anderson still in the lead. Up towards the boom. Ross Saunders, probably his best race on the RM 500. Peter Matthias from England, number M. And Malcolm Moore on the Honda from Pukekohe. Dave Fowler from Christchurch. Murray Anderson still in the lead. Ross Saunders 2nd. James Deacon and Brian Patterson. Deacon still holding out from Patterson. Murray Anderson number 3 there. Looking very strong. Gotta find those gaps to get through. Murray Anderson still in the lead. Not by much because Brian Patterson's moved up now to 2nd place. It's not going to be easy. A lot of lap riders here. Brian Patterson 2nd. James Deacon 3rd. Sorry, Ross Saunders 3rd, Deacon 4th. Murray Anderson working his heart out here. Brian Patterson looking fast. And Ross Saunders. Deacon and Peter Marty are working in on Deacon. There'll be a pass there pretty soon. Murray Anderson, hotly pursued by Brian Patterson. And Ross Saunders still on that. Andrew Hughes from Korea. Was it L. Patterson forever closing in on Murray Anderson. Look at Ross Saunders there, right and close too. All very close together. I think Brian might have made up a few feet that time. Ross Saunders, still 3rd. Peter Marty won the 1st race, and he looking pretty strong towards the end of this one too. Brian Patterson. James Deacon from Queensland, Australia. 5th place now. Brian Patterson's got the lead from Murray Anderson. Ross Saunders, not too badly away, 3rd place. Peter Marthia now to 4th. And James Deacon in 5th. Tony Livingston just being lapped. Number 5 coming up, Malcolm Moore next in line. Probably this man, Dave Fowler, white shirt next. Goes on. 1 and 3, 1st and 2nd. 3rd, Ross Saunders. 4th, Peter Marthia. Murray Anderson just pulled back on Brian Patterson. Again, this is a pretty popular and pretty hard, fast race. Ross Saunders still in there. Murray Anderson still in the lead, pulling away a little bit. And look at Ross Saunders closing right in on Brian Patterson. That's a terrific race from Brian too. These spectators are really willing Murray on all the way. Number 1, number 11 are really having a go. And the next one through will be Peter Marthia right there. This is the man I want to win. Murray Anderson coming up for the checkered flag. And Ross Saunders has got through. That's going to make a lot of difference. Look at that. Where's Ross? Ross and Brian Patterson just about kills himself on the other side of the tyres. He's got to go back to the other side of the tyres. And that's going to drop him down to a bad 3rd place. But what a race. What a race. He really needed to get that 1st place. Deacon looks like 5th place. I think I must have missed Peter Marthia.
What a race,
Andrew Hughes, yeah, a beaut race, eh? And Malcolm Moore coming up to make the 6th place. Right on the ground. I said, there's 6th place gone again. Malcolm Moore's got to get it up again. You might lose a place out of this, Malcolm. It's the last lap, the flag's just up the way. And here's some more coming up the road. So he's going to be in a bit of trouble, losing a couple of hard-earned places. Not very happy about that at all, I guarantee. This is the 500 race. That's the man, Murray Anderson. Brian Patterson seems to have got the lead. Big time. 5:37.11. Peter Marthia. It's all close again. At the moment it's Brian Patterson just in front of Murray Anderson. Brian Patterson's changed his line a bit. Malcolm Moore's Ross Anderson very, very fast along this straight here. Murray Anderson back in the lead. Well, the crowd are ecstatic about that. Murray Anderson's pulled away a little bit and Brian Patterson's dropped back, and Malcolm Moore is now challenging Brian Patterson for that 3rd place. And it's a popular win lead. Brian Patterson 2nd. 5:11, Ross Saunders. Quite a gap back now to Peter Marthia and Dave Fowler. slipped into third place now. All the cheers for Murray Anderson, Brian Patterson, and look at this, Ross Saunders up by Malcolm Moore on the Honda. Still Ross Saunders third. If he gets up to second place in front of Brian Patterson, there's going to be lots of trouble because Brian needs every point. They started the race level. Murray Anderson using every bit of the track. Brian Patterson looks like he might be catching again, and here's Ross Saunders really rocketing through. Look at these crowd up here. It's willing Murray Anderson on. 1 and 2 and 3 and about 3 seconds between the first three. Ross Saunders is there too. Murray Anderson still in the lead. Doing up every bit he can. Oh, he nearly fell off against those pegs there. Oh, gee, that was close. Still he's ploughing on. Brian Patterson just being hung up a little bit by a back marker. 15. Ross Saunders. Brian Patterson over the back there. Spectators are loving this. Waiting for Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson, Ross Saunders. And there's the leader, Murray Anderson, not very far ahead, not far enough ahead to be in a safe first place. Making a few bundles. Very, very fit. And they've got a first Yamaha YZ490. Brian Patterson now. Pivot turns around the berm. Seems to be a little bit on the slow side, just around here. He doesn't seem to be able to get the power on. Okay up the back there. Look at Ross Saunders just gaining ground there. Oh, never. Brian Patterson being brought down by another rider there. Just breaking into that corner there. Number 6, Tony Livingston, just slid wide. And what a mess. This is going to make it for Brian Patterson's lead in this race. He's away and he looks like he's back in fourth place because there's Murray Anderson, there's Ross Saunders, there's Peter Mathia in third place. And what a devil Brian Patterson has got to make up. Probably 200 metres on this now. Because now Ross Saunders has closed in on Murray Anderson just to give him a hurry along. And Ross Saunders has been riding awfully quick today. Nevertheless, if Murray can keep ahead of Brian Patterson, that's all he needs to win the New Zealand Open Motocross Class Championship. There's Brian, pretty well detuned from that fall down. Probably knows that the writing's on the wall just now. Zakaria. Now Ross Saunders has pulled ahead of Murray Anderson. If Murray plays it cool, just keeps his position, that's all he needs to do, because a win or trying to try too hard just now just could upset the whole thing. He just keeps it cool and keeps ahead of number 1 Brian Patterson, it's all that matters. Close stuff there between Ross Saunders and Murray Anderson. Now the last lap, front of the line, Murray Anderson going to be New Zealand Motocross champion. Ross Saunders a great second. Look at this crowd, I really appreciate it. And everyone's pretty happy about that. Peter Marcia. And the lost champion is Brian Patterson. Unfortunate ending to a great race. And there's Brian Patterson, ex-New Zealand Motocross champion. Pretty brassed off, but anyway, that's the way it goes. Rockwell guy's been pretty happy with the results they've got nevertheless, and said he did a pretty good race. Man, Murray Anderson, number 1. After all these years, he's wanted that 500 title. He's had the 125, he's had the 250. Now he's got the 500. And this is Greg Hansen from Great Britain, who won the 125 class on a 125 Kawasaki. Peter Martha from England, with Don Prairie, the team manager, and right here we have Perry Leask, who won a 250 class pretty easily. This is a Team Green tent after it's all over. That's the final of the Motocross Championships for 1984. And now we're getting on to the Christmas Motocross Series.